day to our fellow Bitcoiners and friends. I have Moonlight with me this time. Moonlight is the Chief Information Officer of a global firm, having worked in the IT support business for 23 years. He and I are just about the same age. We've got adult kids and we're old enough to be grandparents, and maybe we just leave it at that. We're getting older. Like me, he's a fellow pleb seeking freedom and is humbly stacking sats. He's an active member of the Bitcoin Army. He can often be found hosting or co-hosting or simply tuning in and bantering on various spaces on the X spaces. And that's where I first saw him and heard him, started following him. I just frankly found him to be a kind, fun, and funny reply guy, enjoyable in the X spaces. And heck, he was willing to come on the show. So this is the first time I get to see him live. So thanks for joining me, Moonlight.
Thanks for having me. My first time on a live stream, so I'm, believe it or not, Moonlight or Virginia can get nervous.
Moonlight or Virginia, so it can be either one?
Yeah, whatever one floats your boat. Sometimes I'm Virginia when I'm angry.
Oh, don't make Moonlight angry. Virginia comes out. It's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Virginia might come out.
Or vice versa.
You might just, now if I touch on something, you rage on me, that's just part of the fun show. It's all good.
Normally the rages happen late at night, so it's noon here.
Okay.
So we're good.
After a long day, then Virginia comes out.
Yeah.
I think we're both Gen X, and I think you and I might probably relate on a lot of things, having grown up, remembering the 80s, growing up into the 90s, and we're still young, and that basically the world changed. We're kind of like the first generation when computers in the home became a thing. Mm-hmm. And then it has evolved from there, and we were just kind of ready for the internet. When did you first get into computers and home computing, what have you?
Oh, it's definitely mid 80s.
Me too.
Yeah, I was, very into baseball, video games on the computer. Like there was a game called Earl Weaver Baseball, and you could make your own stadium and make your own players. Oh, yeah. And I just loved it. You could print out the stats on a little dot matrix printer.
Yeah.
And then I believe I got either Prodigy or America Online and a modem. And this is way before the internet became mainstream, but it was so cool. You could dial into their services and get updated sports scores and stats as, and then there was the chat rooms and all that.
Yeah. Before there was like the internet, I had an old, so my family started with we got a Commodore 64.
Oh, I had one of those.
And that was like a splurge. And that's when it was like, I was just figuring out like this big 5 1/4 inch floppy and the separate floppy drive thing. And it went, you knew when to time it and all these things. Yep. And you learned how to do that or back up on tape. And then, but I had an old 1200 baud modem. And if you were tying up the phone line, it was kind of a problem because the line was in the kitchen connected on a long cord. And if you wanted a private conversation, you're in the pantry with the door closed. Yep. And you were tying up the line, grandma's trying to call or whatever. It was that era. Our first phone was one of those rotary dial things.
Yep, mine too.
And so we remember these things. I could dial into a bulletin board system, and it was like, oh my goodness, like there's just stuff out there, and I could download pictures really slowly. I mean, there wasn't much, but you could download like hacker, fracker, freaky stuff. I started to learn BASIC, and in the Commodore, I could just type in BASIC commands one after the other and do little things. And then suddenly things opened up. But for me, games was definitely, the Commodore had it was the first home PC that had like a good audio card. So it had music like MIDI and stuff. And so not just color graphics, but you could do sound kind of decently. And so I got hooked on so many games, and I could download little games and then get them on a big floppy. That other friend that had another similar computer on a floppy, I could take it over to his house, put it in. Sometimes those floppies, they got wet and they died. But anyway, all the fun stuff. So when did you move into, say, like the PC world? So Commodore kind of went on its way. You moved into what? Did you go Mac or Windows?
We went PC. My dad, he worked for the government, and he was building a second career. He's getting ready to retire. So he's a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. So he needed a PC that could print out like mailing labels and stuff. So I think it was a 286, a Packard Bell 286.
Okay, yeah.
That was our first PC, and then and then everything went from there.
Yeah,
it was all DOS. It was all DOS based, and
DOS. Learning DOS. What was the first version of DOS at that time? I think we were using 3.0 maybe. I remember DOS 4 came out, and it was like it seemed like a real improvement. But you learned all the command line stuff.
I still use DOS.
What's that again?
I still use DOS in my job.
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, on my computer right here, I'll bring up command line sometimes just to do certain stuff. I just you got to sometimes.
Yeah.
And we had at my school, they had a small computer lab of a few little 286s. And then I saved my money in school and saved up, and the 386 had come out, but the 486 was coming. This was before Pentium. Mm-hmm. I remember Pentium was Intel's big, strong branding efforts happened. And that's when it was really mainstream. But I saved up my money for a 486, and then I splurged. It came, you could get 4 megabytes of RAM. 8 was pretty typical, and I splurged and got 16 megabytes of RAM.
Oh, wow.
And that was like, and then the compact discs were coming out. This was before DVD, but you could do CDs and store like a whole, a couple hundred megabytes. Anyway, it's funny to think about now because so much is so open and seamless, like just terabytes of stuff and broadband everything, and zapping things wirelessly. But back in the day, it was pretty physical.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So much has changed. So I got into, what hooked me on computers, obviously, as a kid, it's easily games. And so I would play all the fun little games. And then I got into IT stuff myself because it's kind of like when you're the kid or the guy who just kind of knows something about computers, as other people are getting into it, you're helping them out and starting to do tech support, if you will, or, sorting out problems. When did you get into IT?
Well, I mean, I was always kind of doing that for everyone in the family, and working on the computer. And then I was not a good student in high school. I like to think myself as smart, but I just didn't like doing the homework and all that. And I ended up, after high school, going to a trade school called Computer Learning Center outside of Washington, D.C. It was like a 10-month course, I think I flunked out of it twice. Got a girl pregnant who's now my wife, and then got serious, But it actually
happened.
It was just all the technical. It was just all the technical courses without like the English and the literature and all the the general stuff colleges make. So I did that for like 10 months, and then I got an internship. I was like 20 years old. I got an internship at a USAID contractor in DC. Mm-hmm. And, the rest is history. I think we were working on 486s, and Windows 3.11 was, the desktop footprint for all the employees back then.
Yeah, it's interesting the way government applied software, and then if it works, you just stick to it. And so at my job, to this day, I mean, with all of this tech stuff going on and everything about it, we still, for our core data entry, records management system stuff, we still rely on this old, having, it has to operate in its own little shell. It's like a DOS Windows shell. And it's still an old ASCII text interface with the F keys and they've added interface to it so that you can actually click on the screen for like buttons, but or little macros and stuff. But the system we use to this day is this old sort of DOS-based ASCII text thing, and it works. It is clunky as all hell. I mean, by today's UI standards, it sucks. But it works. And the prospect of upgrading that is such a huge lift. They're like, well, this will take like 10 years. We really want to. The government has literally been talking about upgrading it for 10 years. And here we are 10 years later, and they're like, well, we're still looking at it, but it's going to take 10 years. And it's like, I guess it works, right?
Yeah.
You probably, in a long career of IT type stuff, well, so part of this was in high school, but you come across Dilbert. Do you ever watch catch Dilbert? I love Dilbert because I related so much to work that I would do in a company or in the IT world, computer stuff. I'll just throw this up real quick. It came out in the paper. So like, the daily and then the Sunday paper would come out. And this was my favorite cartoon because I related to it in so many ways. And I related to it because of work in IT. You don't have to say anything you don't want to, but just funny IT stories. Helping people find their icon or what right click is or whatever.
I mean, it happens all the time. Offhand, I can't remember, but one of the things I relate to, definitely Dilbert, but also the movie Office Space.
Oh, I love that one too.
I mean, I'm trying to think of some funny stories.
Who was that? Matt Judge?
Yeah, that was Matt Judge.
That keyed in. So when this movie came out, let me throw it up here. When this movie came out, I was working in the Office Space, and I had left a big corporation to join a .com startup. And so like, you remember the turn of the century and .com, just like whatever .com, give us money. and the NASDAQ was blown up, and then and it was pre-crash and all that. We survived Y2K. That was another thing. Y2K was like looming and like, get ready. We don't know what could happen. It could all go dead. And then it was just kind of a nothing burger. But I mean, maybe there were problems somewhere, but for about a year, like Y2K was looming, and it was this big, like, existential maybe problem, but we weren't sure how. And then nothing happened.
Nothing happened. They were actually afraid, everyone was going to go pick up their phone right after midnight to make sure they could hear a dial tone. And the phone company, I think it was Verizon, said, don't do that, because if everyone does it at the same time, you will bring down the system. So, but so that was kind of funny. It was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess like how much of that was real, how much of that was just sort of like people who like to, focus on potential FUD, and then or how much of it was just money to go in and look at your stuff and add digits to dates or whatever. But so then so that Office Space movie came out. I was in an Office Space. It was .com era stuff, and it was kind of right at the cusp of things were. It hadn't crashed yet, but no,
the sustainability of a lot of business models were looking like vapor. And so when that movie came out, it was hilarious to me because I was watching my company grapple with like downsizing stuff, and everybody was kind of thinking about where do we go from here. So in the movie where they're downsizing and they're going to pivot, and all the drama that happens in an office with that was so spot on and ridiculously funny. And there were people kind of just like quiet quitting and stuff.
So remember the guy that comes in to interview everybody to see what they do?
The Bobs.
Yeah. I actually had that happen to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So eventually I got into telecom with Internet MCI, which became Cable and Wireless. And then we went to Teleglobe, which is part of Bell Canada. And so Teleglobe was, building a global internet work. And, I was doing parts of it. And eventually Bell Canada came in to interview everybody. And I think they laid us all off with little 3-month severance. And that was like 2001, 2002. It was right after the bubble crashed, the bubble popped in the internet stocks and all that. So, yeah, I couldn't find a job I could find a job, but not making what I was making. So I just started my own thing, doing servicing little mom and pop shops, in the suburbs. So that's how I ended up running a business for 22 years.
Yeah. Well, and it teaches you a lot, those hard experiences. For me, that was when I joined this .com, I left. I had a great solid career trajectory. I was pretty safe and stable, although I was working my ass off at Microsoft. I was in Redmond in Washington, outside of Seattle there, and left because, the stock price had tanked after the DOJ antitrust stuff was happening. And also I was kind of feeling the grind a little bit and like, okay, is this what it is? And Microsoft has its own issues. But so I left and joined a .com, and then the .com was part of that bubble. But I joined and I was like employee number 15 maybe in this small startup, and we grew to like, I don't know, 50, 60 employees, and we're just doing all these things. And for about a year and a half, what we were doing kept changing, and we kept getting some new leadership and then different big heads in rooms. And we struggled it was a great potential product. It's been since replaced by things happening on the interwebs. But then they started laying people off. And it started with some of the creators and the designers, and then maybe the, tech writers. And it was getting down into quality assurance and even devs. And I was like, and of course, we still had a lot of leadership. But then when particular leaders were like, I'm moving on to something else. And I was like, oh, well, I ended up getting laid off. And we were down to our last 20 employees or so. And the writing was on the wall. So when I got called into the room, and it was kind of like, yeah, it's just like my time. Yeah. But I was really floating like, shit, I don't know. Like, I kind of didn't want to go back to a big corporation in a way. And also it was weirdly competitive because a lot of people were doing the same thing. And so you're competing against a whole lot of laid off coders and various folks in tech. And companies were scrutinizing hard who they were hiring because they were hiring tight, and everything was getting reined in. And I kind of was trying to sort out what I was going to do in my life. And I contracted and consulted for a while, but that was really, really hard to my ego in terms of like, what the hell did I just do with my career? Yeah. But it ended up being good because it forced me to push in a new, different direction of like what I kind of needed or wanted to do instead. And then, like you say, the rest is future. It worked out. So, but I left tech there. I weirdly got into criminal justice, but anyway, a new chapter. Yeah. Did you go in IT? You're a little more insulated from sort of like with the .com bubble and all that. All these companies still need to this day IT. Yeah. So that's a little more solid foundation in terms of work for you. So that's been good.
Yeah. So I ran a business, and then it's hard. It's hard to grow a business. I mean, obviously I was able to support myself and a couple of employees at certain times, but it's extremely competitive. So, you gain a couple clients, you might lose one. And then after 20 some years, I got sick of chasing. Like, I had a client that I had for 20 years and they left, so I was like, you know what, I'm done. And I went to work for my largest client, and that's what I do now. And they let me work from home as much as I want. And,
that's cool.
So it's kind of a lifestyle job for me that I'll probably do it a few more years and then retire.
Yeah. Yeah. At our
I
age,
definitely don't have my resume out there and trying to find another job where I make $10,000 more a year. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'm done. I'm done with that rat race, kind of. So
the hustle part of your life is not as intriguing anymore. I mean,
no, I'm too
your
old.
quality of time, your family, that becomes more important.
Yeah, exactly.
And heck, retirement. There are times where I think, oh, what would retirement look like? I'm still kind of in the middle of things. I actually still have a couple of younger kids, so I'm still raising kids. Your parents are aging or elderly, so at our age, you're kind of right in the middle of kids and parents in mid or end of career, and it's like a sandwich where it's all on you. It's kind of a squeeze.
So both of my parents have passed, unfortunately. Okay. But my mom's sister, who does not have any children, anyway, I'm taking care of her now, kind of. She's in an assisted living near me, and she is now, it looks like, progressing rapidly towards death definitely this year, if not this month.
Oh, wow.
So I'm kind of dealing with that
Busy.
now. But see, what I'm seeing now is, because she's 86, so I went on a walk yesterday. I was thinking about her. I'm like, I don't want to be like that at 86. I need to get as much of this fat off of me as possible, keep it off. I just don't want to be like that. Freaks me out, man. So right now I'm all freaked out.
About your health.
Yeah. I need to get way healthier. I'm not some health nut, but I'd like to be one. I aspire to be a health nut. How's that?
Yeah. I plan on being ripped. Some of these aren't. So in the Bitcoin army, there's, quite a few folks that do their push-ups, post their push-ups. I started now, not that I don't do anything. I mean, my wife will go on long walks and we'll do walks. But I started doing some like weight training a little bit. I'm scrawny, but something. And then, but there are times where it's like I'm busy. I can't always carve out deliberate time to be in, say, the gym space for a solid period of time. And I'll be bouncing around. I'm busy. So then I started doing push-ups, and then I realized, wow, I am kind of weak. But my aspiration this year, I started doing more push-ups a little more regularly, and that's good and helpful.
Oh yeah, hey, they're not easy. Push-ups are not easy. The 150 that they're doing a day, that's crazy. And I know Fax is sometimes doing 450 a day.
Mm-hmm.
He's a psychopath, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, and it showed. I mean, his body has changed, and others that their bodies have changed. I had to start with okay, without hurting myself or over time. You don't want to build up too much cortisol or whatever if you're stressing physically too much all the time. And yet 10 push-ups, start with, I would just do 10 and I could just fit it in. Bring Facts would talk about, okay, you wake up in the morning, you kind of dust off the cobwebs, you do 10 push-ups. You go and brush your teeth, you wash your face, whatever, you shower, you do 10 push-ups. You go and make breakfast, and then while it's cooking, you do 10 push-ups. And he would just kind of fit in a little bit in these little gaps where you kind of make it that little background habit, and you're not feeling like you got to go work out. You're just kind of, I'll be at work and I'll be sitting for too long. I could sit for hours at a time and just be cranking, and then my butt will hurt, and I'll be like, oh man, I got to get up and walk around. Well, I got to remind myself, okay, maybe I can toss in 10 or 20 push-ups. So I've been trying to do that, but it's easy to not.
Yeah, I do that. I don't do it with the push-ups. I mean to, and I was definitely working out pretty heavy up until August, and then I ended up leaving my gym. But what I do is air squats.
Oh yeah, those are good too.
Bodyweight squats. So I'll do 30. Or if I didn't go on a walk that day, I'll do 90. I'll do 3 sets of 30, and then I'll do calf raises, one-legged calf raises, and stuff like that. But
yeah, those are good.
I need to start doing those push-ups and doing. I guess I've just been lazy since August, taking a break. But I walk every day, so there's that. I'm not completely lazy.
Walking is good. The squats are really good. And heck, if you with a little push-ups, a buddy of mine, he's into burpees. Because with the burpees, you're getting that kind of squat movement in there and the hip and spine movement. And anyway, but
those are great.
He swears by burpees. Burpees are a little heavier duty deal.
Yeah.
When I think of IT support, because it feels like if you know anything about computers, you end up being IT for whoever. And when I was younger, I was happy and proud to do it. Like, oh, Fritz knows all the computer stuff, and I could help my mom out or help a buddy out or help a friend out. And I felt good and proud about that. Like, yeah, I'm the guy that knows stuff. And it can turn and you managing an IT business. I think it can be a hard business at times where there are people working with certain hardware or their setup is just kind of what it is, but their problem, it's not that the problem is all that hard. It's just that the repair to it takes a lot of time. But what they get out of it and what they expect is that, well, if they, charging by the hour, it'd be like, I spent hours on this thing. So what was kind of a simple outcome and fixed it for them, be like, yeah, that's $150 or what, you charge them. It can be a hard business in terms of people willing to pay for what they expect should just be easy to fix sometimes, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. How I would do that, because if you're at a client's and you have to completely reload Windows, right, to fix a computer, you're talking about 5 hours of sitting there, erasing it, reloading Windows, reloading all the software, copying all the data back, And then so sometimes the client doesn't want to pay that, some little 10-person real estate agency. I'll be like, look, if I stay here, it's going to take 5-6 hours. If you let me take it with you and bring it back in the morning, I'll charge you too. So there's that. But yeah, maybe I was dumb. Maybe I should have sat there and charged them 6 hours. They probably wouldn't have invited me back then. No.
Yeah, right. They understand why they pay that much, but they never come back.
Yeah, maybe that's why I couldn't scale my business. It's because I didn't charge enough.
Biddy says, good morning. Good morning, Biddy.
Hey, sweet Biddy.
I've been there and there have been local IT businesses in our little town. It probably helps when you're in a larger urban environment where there are a variety of clientele, but we've had a couple of IT companies in our area. It's not that there wasn't a lack of business, say, or a need for it. It's just the price point for the time and stuff. It's hard that unless you get like a number of computers in and you can kind of multitask and get one started, get another started, and you got a round of things going all the time. When it's small and piecemeal, it's like, I just sort of babysat this one little project for half the day, and the customer might expect to pay $50, or something. I don't know. So they've struggled when, and then I've experienced it where it's like, okay, I had to draw a line where I don't mind helping for little ticky-tacky stuff, but I value my time, and I can't just kind of keep finding your icons for you, or like, or it turns into, it's not like that there's a problem. It's that you don't know how to use computers. That's the problem. Sorry. And so, like, I can sit and educate with you or help you navigate Excel a little bit, like, fine. But I got to tell you, like, I got to charge by the hour, because what might seem like a nice, easy thing for you, not that I don't want to help, it's just that it's my time. And so you start to have to value your time, I guess. I kind of joke, but sort of like the warning to anyone who knows computers, which is everybody now, but beware of providing the first session of any IT support to a boomer, because it turns into like, you're their guy, you're the go-to guy, you get the calls or you get the texts, and it's every little thing, and they can't explain it. It's something that could just be like over the phone, do that thing. Yeah. Okay, good. But no, they're not even sure how to explain it. And then you go make a trip and you sit down and you look at it and you're like, yeah, here it is. And they're like, oh, and you're just like, okay, that was it. Bye. Anyway, it's like beware IT support for the elderly because you get hooked into a rabbit hole of not even tech support, just like computer education.
Believe me, I had to do it with my parents. I couldn't. It would
endless.
It would be so frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were reminding me of some PTSD moments.
Oh God. It would sometimes it's cringe and I'd just be like, oh, or the way the thinking is, maybe it's age, maybe it's a generational thing, but
yeah,
you step them through something. And I mean, it's obvious. It's like, here's the menu. Here's where these things are. Copy, paste, do these things. Oh, you want to move a file? Okay. Yeah. It's in this window. Move it. Here's the other location. Look, you can copy, paste. You could click and drag, however you want to do it. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. And they got to write down notes and like, what's that look like? And nothing is intuitive to them. And so then they try to do it a second time and the window moved or they minimized it or they closed it. Oh, where was that? And there's not a sense of any structure. And so, it's all still there and the same, but you have to help them like find that window or find that icon or remember the file menu name or hit Control C. And it's like, oh gosh, I gotta, and then they're writing down all these notes and you're just cringing like, oh my goodness, I know I'm going to be here next week again. So anyway, but it was nice for me when my kids got older, like your kids have grown up and when they know computers better and then grandma still needs tech support. I told my boys like, hey, you can help grandma because they know computers and they kind of still like doing that. So
yeah, I hear you.
Anyway, I think Gen X is kind of like a special generation, not just because we are that, but we grew up in an amazing time. We saw all the changes happen. And then even to this day, like this past week, kind of crazy things happening in AI. I think of things like like security and hacking and just kind of tossing an open Claude bot at a system and having it find stuff. And the attack vectors, it was like, oh boy, it's a new frontier there. And then number two, AI coming in and doing things in lieu of humans. I guess it may not affect you as directly with your stage in the game, but what do you think of AI coming in with all this stuff?
It's coming in, man. So my company sold one of their buildings and we're renting back from the new owner of the building, but they're also sharing the building with us. So they took over the management of the conference rooms. And, before we use Office 365. So you would just schedule the conference room's mailbox, calendar, schedule an appointment. And that's how you book the conference room. Well, we had to sync both of them together to two different companies' Office 365. He's just using Claude, and I'm going off my skills, and it's just as good as I am.
Wow.
You have to go into PowerShell and which is crazy to do that for Office. You're digging in deep in Office 365 using PowerShell, but yeah, and it's just telling them what commands to type exactly as I type them. And I'm like, as soon as somebody realizes this is all they need to do, they don't need me. But I mean, I guess you also have to be brave enough to do it or know how to fix it in case the AI gives you something wrong. But I can see, my job, I'm sure it's okay for now, but within 5 years, it'll just be a service that can just take control of your computer and go and fix your icons for you or whatever you need, so.
Yeah.
It's funny because AI, I'm kind of on politics. I'm kind of center right. And I remember Andrew Yang, 12 years ago when he was running for president on the Democrat side, he was talking about UBI, Universal Basic Income.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the craziest thing I'd ever heard. I'm like, that is crazy. Now, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. And I don't, it has to come. I mean, what are they going to do to all these people that don't have jobs?
Yeah. So like earlier this week, Block laid off like basically half their
I saw
employees. That to me was a signal. Like I knew things were coming from gradually into this kind of suddenly world. But when Block laid off half their employees, we're just like, we're just going to bite the bullet. It's here, folks. You know, people can vibe code or vibe IT their way through stuff. And that was a big hit in a way where it's like, oh, they're just preparing for the reality. Oh, maybe Moonlight will rejoin here. He got disconnected. Moonlight, I don't know if you can hear me, but if you get popped back on here, just join back. There you are. Cool. Yeah, when that happened, it was a signal to me like, okay, Block is just getting a grip on reality quick and pivoting. It's going to hit everywhere so hard. I think there's a lot of people in school now, people are in school evaluating their education and degree and going like, what is it though that I'm going to be doing? Like anything in tech for sure, but a lot of white collar jobs, it's going to feel like you can study and learn all these things, but should I really be learning to herd an AI cat, you know, and then down in the road in the future, people are doing that, but to various extents, systems will be set up and AI will be doing stuff, and the human's not going to know all the guts of that necessarily. It's gonna work, and they're gonna like navigate the problems and the solutions. But if AI is just handling it, it could be like something happens, and without the help of a benevolent AI on your side, you might be like, well, I don't know what the fix is or what happened or where it changed. AI is doing it. So it's like a double-edged sword, maybe a real sharp edge for a while, existential concern sword of what is going on? What is AI doing out there? Say it works for you, but still you don't know the guts, perhaps. And then alternatively, on the other hand, it's just the literal jobs. The number of people you presumed you need to do stuff has drastically reduced because you need an AI manager. So, DJ Guerrero says, "Good morning, Mexi." Oh, Matt, it's Mexi.
Oh, what up, Mexi? So,
hey, Mexi.
As a parent, I was thinking about this the other day. My kids I have one kid still in school, but she's in graduate school. She's almost done. I look back to when they were all 18. And in this environment, I don't even know if I would tell them to go to college. I guess depending on what they wanted to be. My eldest wanted to be a nurse, so you're going to have to go to college for that. And that shouldn't get disrupted too bad with AI. But you know, do you tell somebody to get an accounting degree, or do you say, you know, you might want to learn plumbing?
I know.
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know how I'd be now looking at it. You know, I as expensive as college is, you know. So
yeah, and for youth, it can be something where, oh, okay, like for me, I navigated big changes in industry and challenges, or getting laid off, or being like, maybe I should just go be a plumber, you know. I mean, but I was young and capable and was willing to lean in. It could hit the hardest people that are really kind of mid to late career that can't retire yet, but their job's now under pressure. And what are you going to go get more school or now learn AI? You feel like you've done your time learning and getting to a point where you've got a role. And if that role goes away and you're older, it's like, oh shit, am I going to go be a plumber? Like, man, I can't get on my knees and lean under a sink, you know, or whatever, but a mechanic. Anyway, yeah. So what I see happening now, it's like, yeah, I can see where there'll be a societal demand for UBI. Companies will, whether it's reality or an excuse, companies will variously have reasons to upsell AI on their growth end and then downsize on the other end for reasons. And it leaves people in the middle, like trying to figure out what they're going to do in their life. And that's where enter UBI. And So then it's a matter of like when Yang first brought it up, like you mentioned back then, I'm like, who's paying for this?
Yeah, I was too.
I mean, this was pre-COVID. When COVID checks were going out, I'm like, who is paying for this? And that's when a lot of us were paying attention to what is money? Where does it come from? Oh, we didn't have the money. We made the money. Oh, so anyway, it runs into the money printer. It kind of reinforces why we Bitcoin, I suppose. So it's a lot about the money system then too. So I don't know where it's going, but I see both the real positive potentials of what humans now can do, and on the other hand, the fallout of simple change and not needing humans to do certain stuff. So then what do the humans do? So, boy, you might be happy to be done when you're done. But then I think about my kids. So I have an 18-year-old who, when I was his age, and in 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, get that 4-year degree, do like what I did, degree in computer science. Like you like computers, you like coding, maybe you like hardware. Go for computer science and get that big solid degree. Well, I mean, it worked well, decently for me, but for him, it'd be like, okay, so you commit to all this school, you come out with all this debt, and you're looking to land like that solid job that may or may not exist in a way that anything that you studied for. And so he just decided he's getting similar to your path, but he's just getting an associate's in cybersecurity just to understand different systems.
Yeah.
Linux, Unix world, Windows, Mac, and just kind of cover the bases on how these systems work right now with IT, security, cybersecurity, and systems management, and like good foundation. But from there, like, I don't have any advice. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I in a way, I'm just saying maybe you start learning how to prompt and navigate AI.
What I told my son back when he was a freshman, God, what was that, like 9 years ago? His first major was cybersecurity, and I'm like, dude, you're not even into computers. But if you want to get into technology, get into robotics. And he thought that was the dumbest thing. That's what the nerds do. And I'm not going to robotics lab. And he was too cool for school. Anyway, he ended up switching to a whole different field. But hey, I was kind of right. Robotics is hot right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe he should have listened to his old pops.
Well, and then ultimately disciplines like engineering, like if you're good at the math and things that are going to apply to like physical projects, like we still got to build bridges and construct stuff, like physically build stuff. And there are humans that got to guide and direct like that happening, even if it's robots doing stuff for it. Those still need managers and engineers. So there may be realms of engineering that's a lot of schooling, but yeah, we still want an engineer to drive the know-how on that.
Yeah.
But there's some froth in the IT world that, boy, I don't know.
It's going to hit. I mean, just think about Hollywood. They
They
don't need actors and actresses anymore.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know. And that's why I think I mentioned on a space, maybe you were in there or not, I can't remember, but a couple of days ago, it may be that when it comes to art and creativity, even as AI can just produce all this amazing, glossy, realistic stuff, there may be a desire for something that we know is authentically human or is made by humans, is imperfect, but that's because, like, you can do that with AI, but here's something that actually humans made. There may be a interest in knowing that there's humans involved in this now, and that's special.
Yeah. Oh no, it can make their songs actually more beautiful knowing that a human made this and this wasn't done by some AI thing. But no.
Like artisanal craft.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah.
But we'll see. But what it's facing is the huge competition that things that are mass produced or made quickly. It's like, well, stick an AI on that and you're done. You don't have to learn guitar. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. Tell me about your name, Moonlight. What's that come from? Or if you
I don't know. I was hammered one night on Twitter Space. I swear, somebody convinced me to change it to Moonlight, so I did right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to not be active at all. I would just had a Twitter account so I could get some alpha on altcoins or the shitcoins. And so I created that Twitter account. It was called, my handle is VA Crypto, which is Virginia, and I was into crypto, I kind of hate that handle now, but I wasn't really thinking about becoming active on X. And then I started listening to, when I was driving, I'd listen to the Wolf of All Streets. I forgot his name, Scott Melker. And then when breaking news would break, like Ukraine war, when that started, I would listen to Mario Newfall. And then it just started seeing like Bitcoin Today and started listening there. And, and now I'm freaking in the spaces. And now I'm a space addict. It's all I do 24/7. You can pretty much find me in a space. I just have it on in the background if I'm working during the day.
Sure.
I don't really participate in those. I more participate at night or in some of the smaller spaces. But then I changed it to just Virginia BTC, and then some idiot told me to change it to Moonlight, and then I listened to him. But people still, I like Michelle still calls me Virginia. I kind of like Virginia better, but now I don't know whether I can change it back or what. I mean,
you can change it.
I'm sure it's possible, but I don't know. Not to sound like, not that I care about my branding on Twitter, but now that people know me as Moonlight, am I confusing them if I change it? And I don't know.
Well, Twitter moved to X, and that's still a clumsy transition for people because I'll say Twitter and tweet, and it's like, man, it's been X for how long now? But people get over it. You call yourself what you want, and people will get over it, and eventually it will matter. But you can change it.
Yeah, maybe I will. I probably should. But whatever. There's bigger problems than that in this world that I should focus more of my mind on.
Yeah. What's fun about, with the spaces, I only really started kind of tuning into spaces more kind of this winter, honestly. I knew they were out there, and, Twitter X had incorporated spaces as more of a thing. And I was like, oh, these are like handy. I'm not much of a chat room kind of a guy.
Yeah.
But then people I knew would be in them, or I'd be invited in, or there'd be a really good, interesting conversation. And I got kind of hooked. And not that I would participate too much, but as you're working or I'm doing stuff or kind of puttering around, as kind of a change and a break from a podcast, or there's nothing new and live on the podcast, I'm kind of maybe tired of hearing Sailor for the 100th time or whatever. And I would tune into an X space and just be like, oh, okay, this is fun banter, and they meander. So you started tuning into those more and started to co-facilitate and drive some of the conversations more. And that's where I saw you, was that you're active in those quite a lot more.
Yeah, no, I am, especially on the Bitcoin Army stuff. I help co-host, not that they need me, but a couple of the shows, and I like it. And I've developed some good relationships in there with some of the people, and but I have fun. And then like the Bitcoin Today show, that big one they do every morning at 11:30. I like that because I learn so much when I'm in there. Not every day. Sometimes their shows can be boring about gold and silver, but like BIP 110, that was a big thing last week. I learned a lot about what that is and what that solves and what it doesn't solve, things like that. So I don't know. I think I'm a spaces addict.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Now look, maybe I'll become a video streaming addict now that you've got my toes wet in this.
Yeah, now you can be on camera. Next step.
Yeah, no. That space was made for radio.
Yeah, well, no, you do great. This is just what it is. Being here now is what it is. Um, I I kind of was entertaining the podcasting idea before there were like the spaces, but yeah, I kind of just stick to the podcasting thing. That's my format. But spaces I've come to find are very supplemental to an accessible information and community.
Yeah.
What I like about you in the spaces is now you've probably heard your share of arguments or people that get heated and don't have. Some people just, it's funny. It could be a big space. There was one last night, like, okay, so like, I don't even remember the name of it, but I saw some real high profile names in there that I thought, oh, this could be interesting about the recent Iran bombing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Iran. So talk about geopolitical, economic questions in my mind of what, affording things, but, money printer go burr is where it goes for me. But so I tune in, I'm like thinking and there's some guys talking about political things and the stuff going on in Iran, what that's about. Talk about some heated arguments. And so there can be people in there that they may not have the best manners for spaces. They interrupt or they yell or somebody starts on a point and it's like bombarding, interrupting, or whatever, and it takes a lot to moderate. Here's what I liked about you and like about you is that you're positive and keep it fun, keep it lighthearted and funny, jokes.
I try to make jokes.
Yeah, you keep it lighthearted and fun and funny and a togetherness about it, so that not that it happens. I think with the Bitcoin Army guys are pretty cool.
I mean, I can be a complete ass in there too, though, sometimes.
Okay, maybe I just hadn't heard that.
But no, I think the majority of the time I try to keep it light and funny and things like that. So
yeah. But yeah, last night I was
sometimes I can go overboard on the humor. Michelle will start booing me from the audience.
Right. Bad jokes.
Yeah.
But there's a time and a place for it's so late in the night. The session's been going on for a while. Yeah. The people that are left, we know.
Yeah.
And there's times for cutting loose or stretching boundaries or just kind of like, hey, people are good for stuff. But yeah, so the space last night was a rip roaring rage. And I was like, whoa, I kind of tuned. I bounced because it was too much. A lot of the Bitcoin Army of the vibe sessions and stuff are really pretty cool and interesting, meandering conversations. Like, it's not all for me, but it doesn't have to be. They meander and it's cool. When you look at this, go ahead.
Have you noticed? Now, this is the second weekend in a row where I've noticed all the big accounts on X are fighting.
I've heard a lot of fighting.
So now I saw yesterday Puncher, he's one of the big Bitcoin today. Him and Easy or not Easy, they're going at it and they're blocking each other. And last week it was Puncher and Tim B and Darkside. And I'm just like, this is typical signs of a bear market. This is the time to be buying.
Right.
When all the big influencers are fighting and crashing out, it's time to buy sat. So
it is. There's blood in the streets, and I guess it's natural, but in this kind of season of fiat price, now ultimately we're talking about looking at Bitcoin through that fiat lens, which is the air we breathe day to day. Is like we think in terms of fiat. Mm-hmm. So when the price is down and like you do, I'm continually just kind of in my head, the part of me is thinking like, who in the hell is selling Bitcoin?
That's what I said the other day.
Who in the hell is selling Bitcoin?
I don't know.
What I have to get over is the reality that so many of these people that even might consider themselves Bitcoiners or can see the benefits of Bitcoin, really they don't understand Bitcoin. They got a lot of money and they still see it as an on-risk trade, number go up, bro. And so it's like, okay, that's just where a lot of the money is. They don't get it yet and they'll sell. And I'm like, what in the hell? Like that's so like 2020 to me. And here we are now. And so it flummoxes me that there's this many people that would sell, or that there was that frothy of a retail market. But then I just have to step back and go, okay, well, that's just what it is. So yeah, Bitcoin can go lower. I guess it's cheaper sats for me. So, okay.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's hypothetically say I have 4 Bitcoin right now.
Uh-huh.
And let's say in 10 years, a Bitcoin is $500,000 a piece. Let's hope it's more, but let's just say for this example, I'll be 60. So 4 Bitcoin with $500,000 a piece, that's roughly $2 million cash. Do I sell and put that in an income fund?
Here's my thought.
Or should I double trip it down to 250 and then hope it comes, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no. Well, so the next consideration there is not just your time preference, but your tribal generational wealth perspective. Is that Bitcoin that you have the keys and you actually own it? Is that worth holding on to, say, for next generational inheritance ideas? In the meantime, if you're looking at your own personal lifestyle and retirement and wanting to have reaped legitimate rewards from hard work and humble stacking, which you've earned, it could be, and I think, and I don't want to prescribe a solution to this exactly, because I don't.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just saying it's something to ponder, but there's going to be people like that will sell in those cases.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess everybody's different.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm going to try, I wouldn't want to do that. There's also, we could borrow off of it and things like that. But, yeah, I was just more or less bringing that up as just, there's always going to be sellers because there's always people in different stages of life.
Yeah. Well,
versus
what we
say
saw,
like somebody that's 22 that's just now starting to stack sats,
Yeah, exactly.
Not selling for 40 years, so, or at least.
Yeah, and so I mean, like last summer and this winter, we've seen OG whales and old wallets dumping, or you see a movement of the Bitcoin holdings going from old wallets into established industry wallets, and then the rest of us sweep up bit by bit in our small wallets. So old whales are selling because they put in their time. They want to live a rich life and they've earned it, and so they're selling. It could get to a point where people in that kind of a situation, you're sitting on a few Bitcoin and you're like, I can easily sell some of this and live very comfortably, but still have Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't judge that. I'd say, well, you stacked, you earned. There's going to be an amount that you sell. You might consider, well, what's good, not just what's good for Bitcoin, but maybe what's good for long-term family stuff. It could be that you apply the tools that are coming out. More and more and more are options for people to, maybe not, certainly not all of it, but a portion of your Bitcoin you lock up with a trusted third party or a bank of the future. I think of like Strike or Stretch or these kinds of things where you hold on to your Bitcoin at some level, but you lock it with a kind of yield or loan. And that's what rich people do. I mean, to this right now and for a long time, what the rich will do is be very in debt and pay little taxes. They hold on to hard assets, but then they leverage those for cash and a loan. And on paper, they look like they're hugely in debt. Now they're wealthy beyond measure, but on paper they're in debt and they live off debt. They buy assets, they leverage and borrow off those assets, and they live off debt. And they're going to pay a little on interest, but their gain in their hard asset they still keep. And then they roll over these loans and they live in debt, and it's very tax beneficial.
That's why, like, some of the politicians say we got to tax the rich more. Well, the rich don't pay income taxes.
Right.
They just borrow off their assets. They've already figured out how to beat that game.
Yeah. So it was sort of throw someone who is a minnow in the pool, but you're sitting on Bitcoin, and suddenly you're contemplating that strategy that the rich do. What Bitcoin does for your average pleb is it elevates them from an NPC to an actual player character, because suddenly you're competing at the same level as the big dogs.
Yeah.
And like, just to be a whole coiner, it's like, I think in the future it'll be like, dude, you have different financial decisions to be thinking about. So no, it's, and that itself is an education. Like, oh, I'm not like a real financial wizard, but gee, if you're sitting on a few Bitcoin, you want to figure out how you navigate that with either buy, borrow, die type strategies, or the tax implications, and it kind of, see, because we grow up where it's like, I eschew debt, like, don't want debt, want to be out of debt, hate debt. Debt is the death knell feudal system stuckness that the kids are inheriting, and that people are stuck in debt. So it's like, I'm anti-debt, and yet the wealthy will use tremendous amounts of debt to live their life. But that debt is leveraged off of core assets that they never sell. So it's a different game. Anyway, but I think there's probably learning to be done when you get to that level. As it is right now, I stay humble and stack sats. So
me too. I stack more now that the prices come down so much. It's funny because back in 2024, I think when the first time we got up into the 80s and 90s, I was like, man, this is getting really expensive. I'm just going to stop my DCA. And I stopped my DCA, and then next thing I know, we're at 120 something. And I'm like, oh my God, why did I ever stop my DCA? This is getting away from me. And then I was not panic buying, but I'm kind of panic buying, because I'm like, wow, this is really getting away from me. We could be at 200,000 in 3 months, and I was kind of mad at myself for stopping that DCA for that period of 6 months, or whatever it was. And then, so I started DCAing again, and then we crashed down to 90. I upped my DCA, and then we crashed down to 60. I upped it more, So, but now it's funny. I'm never happy with the price.
Yeah.
When it's going up and up and up, I think I start panic buying because I think it's getting away. And then when it's going down and down and down, I'm like, am I in a cult? Is this going to zero?
We've maybe all had that sense, especially like in your family or your community, or like nobody in your meat space, analog space, really understands what in the hell you've been doing for a while. And so when you translate anything to them, it's all fiat brain stuff. Like, how's your Bitcoins? Like, they're just asking about the dollars. And it's like, just wait. But you want that validation. You want to be able to say, yeah, I was smart, wasn't I? And you can't exactly get away with that right now. So writing it down can be hard.
Actually, and you know what? That's one of the good things, and maybe that's why I'm an addict on these spaces, is I finally met other Bitcoiners.
Exactly.
Because if I go out to a bar or somewhere and I start talking about Bitcoin, a lot of people don't even know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And other people thinks it's criminal money, or just, we're so early.
It's crazy. Yeah. I imagine a world where someday it'll be like, can you believe Grandpa was into Bitcoin when it was under 1 million? Not under 1 million, under 100,000. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like legend, fucking legend. Someday, but DCA helps short circuit that fiat monkey brain. Just like, forget about it. You're not hustling. You're not trying to be smarter than the market, blah, blah, blah. I also will imagine sort of a future fantasy world of like dollar sat parity. So even it's like, oh yeah, I stacked another 10,000 sats, whoop-de-doo. Well, hey, 10,000 sats might really be a thing later, let alone 100,000, 1 million sats. Like, woo! So, yeah, I try to, you know,
what's a million sats? Is that a million? Is that 0.01? Is that 1 million sats?
0.0001. 100 million.
100 million is 1 Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So then 1 million would be 0.01, right? And 10 million would be 0.10.
Right? 100 million Satoshis in a BTC. So what's the inverse of that?
So 10 million would be 0.10, and then 1 million would be 0.01 BTC.
I know. Showing off my brilliant brain mathematical abilities. So 100 millionth of a single Bitcoin. So yeah, that's some zeros. Point 0.00000001 Bitcoin is a Satoshi.
Oh, is 1 Satoshi? Okay, yeah.
One
Satoshi. But I was saying, what is 0.01? That's 1 million sats. I think that's a tremendous amount of Bitcoin. 0.01.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a tremendous amount of Bitcoin in 10 years.
Yeah, 0.01 Bitcoin, a million sats. So for a lot of people getting into it for the first time, it's like maybe your first goal as a kid, as someone who's new, who's, you know, looking at the risk or whatever, just make a goal of 0.01 Bitcoin.
That's what I was telling my kids last summer. I said, well, you know, 0.01 Bitcoin right now is $1,200. I hope you all will get there this year. And of course, they think I'm a kook.
Oh, Grandpa.
Hopefully they're listening to me on some level, and, you know.
Someday you'll be a fucking legend.
I know my daughter, at one point, she showed me her Cash App, and I think over the summer she had $800 or $900 in Bitcoin. So I was proud of her for that.
Oh, yeah. Just getting off zero can shift your mindset.
Yeah.
Bring Facts says hi. You know, hey, we were talking about you earlier and your push-ups.
Yeah.
OG. Yeah. So it's like, okay, for someone young or someone who's still learning, it's like, okay. I mean, if there's unit bias, so people are like, oh yeah, it's so expensive. That's the unit bias. Make a goal of 0.01 Bitcoin. And if you did that, well, get 0.02. Maybe you make a goal later down the road, 0.1. And then you start to see like, okay, that wasn't incredibly hard. Actually, what I was doing was starting to save. I actually shifted into actually saving at all.
Yeah.
And then you can, it's nicer. And then over time, you know, a year or two later, like, well, that wasn't so painful. I kind of incorporated it into a budget and I'm saving. Okay. And then you're like, oh, and that value went up and oh, everything else is more expensive. And it starts to click and it takes a while for people to kind of start to get it. And then, and then if there's ever a face melting season that we have here down the road, it'll be like, woo, glad we stuck while we were humble. So,
yeah.
And then now hold on to your ego, folks, because you'll feel like a king. I'm kind of joking, but
that's normally time to take profits, right? But no, you shouldn't sell Bitcoin. But, you know, even in the stock market, when you think, you know, how you're so smart, like when Irons hit $80 a share and you don't trim the profits, that'd be me. That'd be this guy. I'm riding this to 200.
Yeah. So like you said, you never like feel good because let's say you buy and it goes down. You buy and it goes down. That's what karma always does. I buy and it goes down. You don't feel good. You're like, okay. No. But then you're like, okay, no. I'm the fundamental reason why I bought did not change. Now, sometimes you buy and it goes up And you can still feel bad because like, well, I could have bought more.
Yes. Yep.
And now I don't sell anymore, but like when I would back in, 2019, 2020, it'd be like, I would buy and sell thinking I was so smart. Well, then
Trying
you
to time the
sell.
market. Yep.
Yeah. You sell and it goes up. You feel bad. You sell and it goes down and you're like, well, maybe I should have sold more. And it's such a psychology game. So, avoiding all that fiat monkeyness, DCA is a good way to be like, forget it. It's just incorporated into my budget. I'm not going to overthink this, even as I can't help but sometimes check the price just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is right now. I'm just kind of curious.
Let me guess. I'm going to say 67. That's
66 and a half.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was at 67 this morning.
Okay.
But yeah, did you ever look at charts or follow the chart stuff much?
No. I mean, I'm kind of interested in it. I know certain shapes and what it means, but I'm not into it. I get bored doing that.
Yeah.
Like looking for falling wedges and cupping handles. And meanwhile, if some big news cycle breaks, that chart means nothing, or that the TA means nothing. But I understand why traders would use them and stuff.
Sure.
I don't think they're wrong or anything, or always right, or vice versa. So
yeah, jankiness that goes on. Like, I mean, God, years ago, I remember I bought a bunch of Bitcoin because I'd stored up dry powder and it seemed like the timing was right, and I saved and waited, and then I thought, I think it's time, and I bought. And then that was the day that I guess Israel got attacked and Israel fought back and all that craziness started going on. And that was the beginning of the whole war going into Gaza. That price suddenly plummeted. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't have the inside knowledge to know that literally I bought that morning, and in the middle of the day that day, the price just tanked over some random war that broke out. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm so smart. Well, I held. I just was like, I'm just going to hold. Yeah. And it did better than that later. But then again, like yesterday, it'll just drop 5-10% because, we started bombing someplace. Okay. And then it recovers, whatever. But I'll use random. I'll do kind of general indicators. When people are kind of right now, they're feeling like, one, who in the hell is selling? Two, how low is this going? Or what is the bottom? I even had fairly mainstream maxis kind of questioning, like, what if Bitcoin, thinking fiat brain, like, what if it gets so low that enough people bail and we have to start again at, emotions we had back in like pre-COVID days? I was like, well, I guess what's your conviction? I'll look at graphs here where we're down here, but little indicators I look at with the simple moving average and the an exponential moving average. Both, we had a death cross here when it began in October, and the EMA is still riding below the SMA, and there's no clear real change in the tide yet, so we can go lower. And what this does for me, not that I'm a real chart bro, it's just that it tells me that there's still momentum behind this receding tide. So things can happen in macro space world that jank it around, but it's going to take a little while for the general momentum to simmer down. And so for me, instead of getting bent over the feeling of like, 60s or 50s sure seems like it should be the bottom. Well, you just don't know. So anyway.
Yeah, you can always go lower.
It can go lower. It can go lower.
It can really make you question your conviction or whether you're a member of a cult.
Am I crazy? Sometimes
I'm glad it hit 30K. You'll really see fights on Twitter.
Oh boy. Yeah.
There'll be marriages broken. There'll be marriages.
Oh yeah. Well, and people who may be leveraged or whose wives were never quite on board and wants to go on a vacation and and dad's like willing to sell a chair. Oh boy, talk about marital strife. Sometimes maybe the only relationship that matters in terms of keeping it patched together is like where your spouse is with Bitcoin and your conviction.
But my spouse, she's pretty good. She just found an old 401k she had, and she threw a ton of it at. She rolled it over into an IRA and threw a ton of it at IBIT. So she's pretty good.
Cool.
Not as much as I wanted her to, but it's her money. I mean, I'm not gonna. That would be the death knell if I said put it all in IBIT and then it goes to zero. She'd freaking stab me.
Well, think of all the people you may have orange pilled when it broke 100. It was getting into the 120s, and it's an easy time to say, because people were coming to me and asking like, "Hey, it seems like it's good," and I'd be like, "Yeah." And oh man, it can be cringy if you were too excited and helpful and orange pilly about it. So they buy, and now they've since written it down, and they're looking at you like, when am I a millionaire, buddy? Like I'm, anyway, they're looking at it from their fiat, and it's like, well, I mean, sorry, I don't know.
But the few people I'm successful at, I say you have to buy it. If you buy it, you have to own it for at least 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, because it's so darn volatile in the short term. But in the long term, it is volatile, and it's very volatile up and to the right on a yearly time frame. So,
yeah, I had a guy who, for years, was calling it a Ponzi scam and Beanie Babies and all that stuff, and was fudding on it all the time. And then, of course, when it's approaching a peak high, that's when he kind of caves and was willing to buy.
Yeah.
So he buys it like 110 and it goes up to 120, whatever, and he's feeling good. And then it started to drop and drop and drop. And he was like, I'm out. So avoiding his losses. And now he feels vindicated. Like, yeah, see, I didn't take all that loss, as if you realize the loss. I told him when he bought, I'm like, you need to give it at least 4 years, but probably 5, if not 10. Yeah. But you need to, once you buy it, just leave it alone. Now, for him, if he hadn't have sold, he'd probably be all the time thinking like, thanks, Fritz. I said, but my fundamentals haven't changed. It's like, dude, you gave it a few months? So anyway, people have real short time preference on that stuff. So, but, oh, well. But yeah, I mean, if you can keep your relationships intact, it tempers your approach to orange pilling and education, because you don't want to catch people in their peak excitement when they have their unit bias and the price is too high. You kind of want to approach it tactfully, I guess. So, now when we're talking about spaces, you've pointed out there's a lot of LARPers in this space. Tell me about LARPers.
Live action role play?
Yeah.
It's people pretending they're something they're not.
Yeah. Like maxis are not.
Them?
What kind of LARPers have you seen?
All right. I don't want to call out any names, and this aren't people in the Bitcoin army, but in some of the big spaces, the people, why certain people on those stages act a certain way. And then I've seen them with other people in other spaces. And I'm like, oh, if this person is complaining about mortgage interest rates and he's paying private mortgage insurance, he's probably a first-time home buyer. He probably doesn't have this mansion he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. LARPers, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and there's a lot of people with multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Also, that have played different characters depending on, at least, maybe I'm paranoid.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm
you never know.
I don't know.
People do that. On one hand,
have you ever encountered them?
Well, LARPing is a good term for it. I think I've not engaged with it a ton, but the two main LARPers that I've seen, one are people that talk up Bitcoin and their Bitcoin knowledge and how kind of OG they are. and really they're hustling and they're not that wealthy in Bitcoin holding.
Oh, that too.
Yes. They're excited, and it's easy to say, I've been in Bitcoin for a while, and it's easy to kind of people to imagine like you must be like an OG or wealthy, and that's easy to be like, yeah, I'm an OG, and maybe you're not, maybe you're leveraged, maybe you're still kind of hustling. There's others who are like, I'm a Bitcoin maxi. Oh yeah, but also you can moon on this shitcoin, and and it's like, yeah, how Bitcoin are you though? I mean, you're hustling in shitcoinery to theoretically stack more Bitcoin, but when are you done with you're still playing the casino?
Yeah.
So there's that kind of like, I'm a maxi, but I cope when the price is down. That's how maxi I am.
They're Bitcoin maxi, and then all of a sudden when silver and gold are running, they have shit ton of silver and gold also. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought they were all in. So they were never really all in on Bitcoin.
Right.
You know what I mean? So kind of, I shouldn't say destroys they should market themselves or say they're hard money maxis.
Right.
But don't say you're Bitcoin maxi, but really.
And maybe it's chameleons that go into the space and they fit the maxi version of whatever that space is about to like posture.
Yeah.
But they're really kind of bouncing around, or they don't have a core being about it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I just try to be me. I don't know. I don't, but I try not to LARP. Maybe if I'm hammered, I'll LARP, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm just a pleb, dude. That's all I want to be. That's all I want to pretend to be. It's a pleb.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm LARPing as a pleb. Maybe I'm super OG and I'm act like a church mouse. Maybe I'm doing reverse LARPing. No, just goofing around.
It would be kind of fun if, you've got a pseudonym and an avatar and nobody really knows you, or you can be who you want to be, and you can enter a space and be some kind of a guy, kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And it's LARP. It's live action role play. It's fun. But that's not who you are.
No, not me. I can't get away with it. I don't have the time for it. That's why I can't stand she can be nice sometimes, and sometimes she'll say have good questions, but that Satoshi's Bride character that pretends she's AI and she acts like she's not a real. I can't stand it because I find it as she's getting satisfaction by fooling other people, and I don't know. It bothers me to my core for some weird reason that other people actually believe she's AI.
Oh, interesting.
She comes in some of the Bitcoin Army spaces, and I'll let her talk once or twice, but normally she derails the whole conversation. Like she'll ask some off-topic thing, but I don't know why she gets under my skin, but she does. She's probably a nice person, but she has like 5 or 6 accounts. You can always know it's her voice, and she's constantly changing the screen name of the account. She's kind of a no on spaces.
I'm not familiar with her, and not to give her any FaceTime here much, but just, is this it?
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I don't know.
Profile picture, but it's definitely there might be multiple of them, So
yeah, who knows? I don't know.
That's the newest one, but she comes in a lot of spaces, and sometimes she's a pretty good speaker, and other times she's pretending she's AI, and I can't. I lose it sometimes, man.
I guess it's fun. You get to play a character, and okay, whatever. I don't have. And now, if it's positive and informative and community building, I don't really care too much. Mm-hmm. But I lose a lot of tolerance for people who troll or poke or anything too negative. I'm kind of like, fuck you. I don't know. Or being better than, like, oh, well, how maxi are you? Or, oh, you don't know enough about whatever. It's like, hey, we're all at different places, but if you say you're a Bitcoiner and then I go check you out and you're shitcoining, I'm like, no, you're not smarter than me. You're keep playing in the casino. You'll lose. So anyway, I don't have a lot of tolerance for some of that stuff, but for the most part, the spaces you're in the Bitcoin Army, they're good and positive, and yeah, they meander and they're fun. But
yeah,
I like the community there. Of all the spaces,
they have a good little community going.
Of all the different spaces you have bounced around in, do you have favorites or a certain vibe you like better?
Well, I really like the one I do with Nova Noodle on Sundays at 5.
Sundays at 5 p.m.
Yeah, because he always has he does a good job with his space because he always has a subject he wants to tackle, and he keeps it narrowly focused on that. And then I like the Friday night ones with Mexi because they're just fun, goofing around. Little bit of music. Like the other night, we were doing music. Some people were reading poetry. I was telling bad comedy. So it's kind of a, hey, pour a drink, let's yuck it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that one on Friday. Yeah, I mean, I like them all. So.
Yeah, there's a variety of spaces to pick from when you browse through the Bitcoin Army options. There's a lot of different ones. So Bitcoin fixes this with Nova Noodle as a host on the space. And let me just go back to the Bitcoin Army here. I'll bring this up. So for those, I mean, if you weren't aware, the Bitcoin Army community, it's growing in membership. Boy, it broke 9,000.
Look at that good looking avatar right there.
Yeah, look at that. That's us here right now.
I
know. Where'd you find that anime?
What that avatar?
Yeah.
I'd had Grok make it. I took a picture of myself.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that looks like a character I'd recognize from Robotech or some anime.
I was actually laying in my bed when I took that picture, uploaded it to Grok. I said, take out the background and make me look like a cartoon.
Oh, cool. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bitcoin Army, lots of various banter and fun and informative and random, but a lot of good presence there. You can be found Moonlight or Virginia at VA Crypto 2.
Yep.
Just a pleb seeking freedom and stacking sat. So a good follow for if you're looking for Moonlight on X. You can
oh my God, I lost 10 followers. I'm now below 1,100.
It's like looking at the fiat price of Bitcoin. I remember when I was kind of like thinking of building up my followers or trying to get out there a little more and be found, or you have stuff to say and you hate to speak into the void, but it's okay. You join the Bitcoin Army, you start following, people follow you. There are a lot of followers you get that are bots, and there'd be times where it's like, I mean, I try not to care really, but then it's like, why did I just like one day suddenly you lose 10 followers. Like I just lost 10 followers. Did I do something? Did I post something? I think sometimes X is cleaning up bots.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is most of the time. But unless you ask, now I don't really care about follower count too much, but I was so close to 1,000 a couple weeks ago. I asked people to do it and I lost 50 followers. And I'm like, oh, that's just people screwing around with me. Because I wanted to hit 1,000. And then Michelle said, Doug, you just lost 25 followers. And I looked and I'm like, oh, that's just goofballs in the Army screwing around with me. You know what I mean? But anyway, I eventually got there, so I'm sure they came back.
Well, you announced you were close to getting 1,000. You posted, "Hey, get me past 1,000." Within a week, you had 1,100. I think. You popped up there pretty quick. So
some people helped out. So.
Well, I'm not even at 1,000. I kind of grow my follower count kind of organically. I don't hustle and follow for follow really. I just kind of post and try to contribute. And I don't even post that much during the day. I'm busy. I can't keep up with it. I can't even schedule them hardly.
Yeah.
I'll just be doing podcasting and the occasional actual thought, but it's kind of grown organically and slowly. So, I mean, I guess if I've been pushing in X for a year and I'm at 700, it's like, oh, I don't know, whatever, it's fine.
Yep.
But I do remember breaking like 300 or 400 and going, oh, that's happening. I don't know, not quickly, but I'm starting to grow a little bit because you just have to be posting and it has to be at least mildly interesting or something.
Yeah. But being a reply guy helps too.
Yeah. Funny reply guy. And,
no, you don't even have to be funny. You can just be informative reply guy.
Yeah.
Other people that are interested, will follow you based on whether you're informative or funny or vice versa or both, or, that's
and it
another
can
way.
be,
I don't really have, I don't have good posts. I've never, some people are talented at creating a post. I'm not really good at doing that. Like there's nothing interesting in my life that I get to post about. That would reflect Bitcoin or, very rarely.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll take pictures of the food I'm making or that my wife's making that I claim as mine. And,
Yeah. And sometimes a strategy, I'm the same way. I'm deliberate and slow about it, or I'll be thinking too hard about a good post that I had an idea about. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, why am I still working this hard on one little dumb post?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm good at it. I'm just slow. Another strategy, it's hard with the algorithm, but if someone really prominent posts something like, Max Kaiser or some, and if they just posted it and you jump on quick with something snappy that is good, whether it's a reply or a repost with a comment, sometimes that gets that traction. Or if it registers with the dude, you're Saifedean Amu, you post something and maybe you're looking at that post for a few minutes just to see. And so they might actually see what you post quickly, but after an hour, it's like into the history logs. Now, you like the food, meat. You've gone fishing. You caught some fish, rainbow trout, right?
Yeah, I caught them at the supermarket.
Oh, okay.
I caught them in the frozen section. No.
Oh, well.
No, I didn't go fishing. I did, but I did buy those.
Oh, okay. I was looking at them like, man, that looks fresh. But anyway, but you like grilling and different meat. So
yeah. So I kind of, that's the one thing I post a lot on is just what I'm making for dinner.
Cool. Well, with that, I mean, I appreciate the time you've given me, and it's been a fun conversation. We evening by evening, I try to join when I can, and I can't often just randomly join all the time, or I got obligations going on, or that feeling of like family stuff's going on, but daddy has his earbud in and he's not here now. I try to, you don't want to be that guy, but I tune in when I can, and when I can, I often find you there, even like last night, I think, for a while. So it's fun. So it was good to have you on camera and on here live
I'm undoxed now.
I guess you're undoxed. So, well, you remain Moonlight or Virginia, depending on how you're feeling.
Which one do you like better?
I like Moonlight. So, Virginia representing a geographic location that is to your heart. Virginia can be face value like a female name. So when you see if all you saw was Virginia, you might think, and then you hear your voice and he's Virginia, you'd be like, is this a dude with a girl's name? And that's just a dumb superficial take.
Yeah.
Moonlight is cool and evokes imagery and a sense of calm, peaceful, consistent bathing energy. I don't know.
Well, see, the other day, Rob, Rob from the Army.
Yeah.
He sent me a message. Apparently, there's some porno girl named Moonlight.
Oh.
So he sent me her profile, and I'm like, okay, maybe I got to change this. So anyway, I'll canoodle it for a week. Maybe I'll be something totally different next week. It won't be Moonlight or Virginia. It'll just be the same profile picture, but you'll know it's me, right?
It's probably hard to not come up with a good, cool name that isn't also somebody's porn name. I don't know. It's like, or like, you were born with a certain name, and then as you grow up or later, some guy with that name does something, and people are like, "Oh, your parents named you Adolf?" Like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry. You can be whatever you want. There's a picture actually called Moonlight over Virginia, or Moonlight in Virginia.
Is there really? Wow.
This is the picture.
Oh, cool.
Who painted this? I can't remember. Anyway, there's a famous painting that was painted in like 1880 called Moonlight in Virginia. So
wow, kind
of cool.
And look, they're grilling. Is that a person grilling there?
Looks like it. They're cooking some supper.
Maybe I got to get a copy of that and hang it.
Yeah, Moonlight in Virginia. They're prepping the pig. They're going to have a pig boil. There's some people carrying some stuff in the background. It's kind of like rural Piedmont life.
Yeah, that's kind of where I live, in the Piedmont. Well, I'm more in the hills now, but I grew up in the Piedmont area of Virginia.
Piedmont's great.
Yeah.
So like, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, you got your coast, you got your Appalachians, and in between is this broad swath of what I didn't know the word till I'd been there, but it's like the Piedmont. And I'm like, Piedmont? Yeah, the Piedmont, it's like fairly flat, some rolling hills, mix of forest and prairie. And yeah, it's just a nice landscape.
Yeah.
Big swath of Piedmont. So,
yep.
Good place to be. Well, with that, I look forward to seeing you down the road and in the future soon on the Spaces. And I appreciate the time you gave me. Is there anything you wanted to chat about that I didn't come up with?
No, just thanks for having me, and letting me tell my boring story. So
you can tell people you've been on podcasts now. So
yep, you have
it levels up.
Virginity there. You've taken my virginity there. Yeah. Which, that goes with Virginia. That's where the name Virginia comes from.
Oh, virginity.
The king's virgin daughter. It's named after whoever the king of England was back then.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
now you know.
Yeah, and so you're not just some like Bitcoiner. You are legit enough to be on the Spaces and on podcasts. So hey, that's pretty legit. Leveled up.
Well, it's off my bucket list now. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Well, down the road we can do more sometime. So thanks for joining me, and it was fun.
All right, have a good
one. Catch everybody else next time.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Bye.